I want to get back to, it's called My Take, top of the hour. It's really an editorial. I was talking about the PC culture on the left. I think it's reaching astonishing levels. The PC police are all over us. You know, the Kathy Griffin photo, free speech safe zones, a police officer in Minneapolis fired because he asked about a person's immigration status. He was fired, just asking the question. Boston Herald columnist Adriana Cohen joins us now. Adriana, welcome to the program. It's great to see you.
Great to be with you, Stuart.
Part of my editorial was, I think that the PC culture has reached such a point that we're now going to retreat from it because it has become simply outrageous. Do you see any signs of retreat from this?
Well, I think there's been some backlash, rightfully so, because as you know, Stuart, political correctness is not only a form of censorship, it's an encroachment on our First Amendment rights of free speech. And it has gotten so extreme now that it's actually jeopardizing national security. And one example of that is the terror attack, ISIS-inspired terror attack that took place in San Bernardino. There were neighbors who were witnessing, strange Muslim men visiting the jihadi bride's apartment at strange hours of the night, but they were afraid to report that because of political correctness. They were afraid that, culture would push back and call them Islamophobe. And then look what happened. They slaughtered all these Americans. So that's just one of many, many examples where political correctness can get people killed.
Yes, but when are we going to retreat from it? When are we going to put our foot down and insist, this is the United States of America, and we should have free speech? When are we going to do that?
Absolutely. And, the ACLU needs to do a better job at pushing back on, the violation of free speech rights that are happening every single day on American college campuses. I mean, nowadays, if you go to college, these poor students are given, a laundry list of words they're not allowed to say and safe spaces. And this is not what our veterans lost life and limb protecting our freedoms for, so that our college students could go on campus and have a laundry list of an incredible amount of words they're not allowed to say for, and God forbid they offend someone. I mean, it's just gotten outrageous, Stuart.
Yeah, I believe you're based in Boston, is that correct?
Yes.
I'm not sure Boston is ready for someone like you. I'm just not sure that you can get away with this. But here's my next question. President Trump goes to Europe and he says, hey, you Europeans, start defending yourself. Pay for your own defense. You got a free ride from us for the last 3 generations. It's over. Pay up. You approve of that?
Oh, absolutely. I wrote a column in the Boston Herald last week just on this topic that it's time for European countries and NATO members to stop exploiting the generosity of the United States. As you know, Stuart, the U.S. has been footing 72% of the NATO tab, which is just highway robbery, considering the fact that so many of these NATO members are very strong economically. So why are we footing the bill? President Trump is absolutely right. It's time for NATO members to meet their financial obligations.
Now, you published that in the Boston Herald, so you're out front. People know your name, they know what you look like, they know your political views. What's the reaction in a place like Boston, which I always assume is left of center?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are correct assumptions. No doubt about it. Well, I can tell you I daily get attacked by trolls on Twitter, but I ignore them all because I stand true to my convictions. President Trump is absolutely right that we need to, NATO countries need to pay their fair share. There needs to be equitable cost sharing for military preparedness and military defense. And so to me, this is just common sense. It's not so much a right-wing perspective.
How about withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord? I don't mean to throw it at you all of a sudden, but that is probably what's going to happen.
I think, again, that is the right decision by our president. It is an unfair agreement because the greatest burden is placed on the United States versus China and India, which is the world's greatest polluters. So if you are going to have a climate agreement, it needs to be, again, equitable amongst all participating nations. We can't have United States businesses, being crushed by it economically. It's going to kill jobs. And for what? So that China can open a new coal plant every week, which is what it's doing right now. That's clearly unfair.
I don't know how you get away with it. In Boston, coming out with stuff like that? Good heavens. Adriana Cohen, be careful, please. Look, thanks very much for being with us. You've got a home with us any day you like. Thanks very much, Adriana. Thank you. Now.